dates?
I don't know.
But Dad has a reason. I mean, he wouldn't do it without a reason, right?
No, he wouldn't.
But what could that reason be? You know, I think it was about 2 weeks after Dan bought the $5 dog, and Ann first showed Dad the silk stockings.
I remember the battle over those stockings.
But a little while after that, Dad and Doc Burton had a big conference upstairs. But when they came down together, Dad was joking.
And we didn't even think about it. We didn't even have a suspicion.
That's the time.
They were so cheerful. Gosh, Frank, when a man with a dozen children learns his heart's on the blink, what's he going to do?
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, maybe that's the reason why he didn't want you girls just thinking about boys and movies and sodas all the time.
It wouldn't contribute to skipping grades at school.
Don't you see? The further we were along in school, the easier it would be later on.
Of course.
We'd be able to take care of ourselves better, and there'd be less of a load on Mother.
You can't blame him for not wanting us to go on dates and things, but we didn't know.
And he didn't know either. I mean, like Mother said about high school girls.
I guess boys and things. Dad must have thought them to be a shocking waste of time.
The way I remember best, the first boy to call, he came on the same night Dad had the big conference with Doc Burton upstairs.
I think Dad and the doctor upstairs after dinner that night.
That's right, and you and I were over there playing chess together when they came down.
And I was wishing the phone would ring, and that'd be some fullback who was just dying to meet me. I didn't pay much attention to the chess, or even Dad.
Somehow you should realize at the time, I mean, what the doctor was saying to Dad.
But it just passed like any ordinary conversation, like any normal conversation might pass.
That's right, you were sitting over there, and I was sitting over here.
And we hardly noticed. I guess I was daydreaming.
Hey, Ern, your move.
What?
Your move.
Oh,
Sure?
of course I'm sure.
Okay. Another game?
Quacks. You're all quacks.
I hear it so much, there must be something to it.
The Gilberts are a rugged pioneer stock. We don't have any time for any nonsense like being sick.
And what about the Gilbert measles epidemic last spring?
Probably even the pioneers got the measles.
It's possible.
You old fake. Now you're saying I shouldn't even take out a 3-year magazine subscription?
Absolute waste of money.
Well, what about a 1-year subscription?
I'd ask about a short-term subscription, maybe 6 months.
6 months? It's a mighty short-term subscription.
Yes, but a man with your responsibility doesn't want to waste his money.
Oh, I'm too busy. I don't have any time for any nonsense like that.
Well, good. And then, as long as you're feeling well, I will see you next week.
You bet you will.
Hey, Dad, what magazine are you subscribing for?
Never you mind. What's this?
We already finished our homework.
Well, you don't have to stop there. You can always do more. Pretty soon you skip a grade.
But I just skipped a grade last year.
Start thinking about next year. I don't want you held back by a school system geared for the children of the average parents. It's one of tonight's topics of discussion. So stop.
I've been wearing them at school, and I guess you might as well know it.
I suppose next you'll be one to paint yourself.
Everybody wears makeup nowadays. They don't call it painting anymore.
I don't care what they call it. I will not have any painted women in this house.
What you want is a house full of old maids.
What I want is for you to start getting ahead of things. Things that matter. Without having me to hound you all the time.
And tonight's topic for the family council is skipping grades at school.
Yes, and by jingo, a little better organization around here.
We voted all topics should be of general interest.
Better organization is always of general interest.
If Dad's so smart, why can't he understand?
You poor thing.
Your move.
Hey, wait a minute.
Another game.
Get him out of here!
Of all the dumb dogs! What do you expect for $5?
Up on Dad's bed again.
He's always on Dad's bed. He's just crazy about Dad.
The basement window, across the coal bin, up the stairs, Dad's bed.
He was right about the dog. Now he'll think he's right about everything.
Makeup, clothes, and everything.
They're still hoping the boys will go mad over them.
Over them?
What's so ridiculous about that?
Nothing.
Only what?
If you've anything to say,
I just wouldn't think you'd have that sort of effect on anybody.
And we've known you our lives. I mean, of course, somebody who didn't know you so well.
Thanks for the compliment.
You're very good swimmers, and you play well at tennis.
we don't care for your opinion. Other boys don't feel like that about us.
Do they?
I've never heard the subject mentioned.
If you want an honest, frank answer,
We don't.
all the silk stockings, what good did they do?
Someday you're going to be surprised. Someday that phone's going to ring and it'll be... And it'll
Somebody
be...
for Dad. Hello? What? You want to talk with who? You're absolutely sure. You haven't gotten her mixed up with anybody else, have you?
Who's it
You
for?
don't mean Ann Gilbert, the one with all the freckles, do you?
What are you saying?
My gosh, please don't hang up. Are you still there?
Give me that phone!
Can't imagine a boy calling for you.
Give me that phone, you snake in the grass!
Imagine for you.
Hello? Yes, this is Ann Gilbert. It's nice of you to call.
Go ahead, talk to him.
Say something. I can't.
I'll take it with him. Frank, Bill, move it.
We were only kidding.
I'll crack your skull. That I mean it.
No, nothing's the matter. Yes, it's a very good time to call, yes. Where have I been all your life? Mostly I've been right here. Get him along. I'd love to have a soda with you. You mean now? At night? What about Dad? You're driving right over? You don't have permission. Just give a little tune on your horn when you get here. Be seeing you.
Who is it?
Joe Scales.
Golly, the cheerleader, and a car, too. He's a little oversized.
What if he is? You can't expect to start with the captain of the football team. But maybe some people can take us out. Then maybe other people will. Maybe.
He's got the best car at school. You should hear it backfire. What are you going to tell Dad?
Sooner or later, he's got to realize.
Don't you think it's better if he realizes a little at a time?
I don't know, we'll look another chance. I'll bet there'll be a lot of people down at the drugstore. I'll bet there'll be almost everybody.
If Dad lets you go, he might have a project.
Don't you see, this is the start. Boys notice girls that other boys notice. I mean, pretty soon you begin getting popular, and then you meet someone you really want to meet.
And Dad lets you go, he can't be so strict with us.
No, it's the start of everything, that's all. Oh, Mother.
Your father will be down in a minute. He has some things for the family council to take up.
Mother, there was a phone call. A boy called me.
Oh, that's nice.
I think he's a well-brought-up boy.
And he's the cheerleader.
He asked him to have a soda with him down at the drugstore.
When?
Tonight he said he'd come right over.
He has his own car.
I don't think tonight's a very good night. Maybe some other night.
But if I break the first night I ever had, there won't be another night.
Please, Mother, say something to Dad.
I wish, but some other night.
But when? When?
Well, I suppose you do have to start sometime.
I already told him yes.
Oh, well, maybe we can bring it up at the end of the family council, if you're especially cooperative. I hope this boy is the quiet and reassuring type.
Oh, he is.
He's small, too, only that high.
That is reassuring.
Now we'll see whose skulls get fractured.
Billy, you put down that umbrella.
Frank, get a shirt for your mother.
I was trying to explain things to the dog. Immediately you beg for him under the porch. He's sure to stay there.
By jingo, he'd better. I'm calling this meeting to order. Now, if there are any topics of general interest you'd like to bring up, hearing none,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go into the topic of roller skates.
not of general interest.
I'm interested.
Sit down.
The trouble is, you always decide what's of general interest. And none of us have the chance. I don't think that's very democratic.
Nonsense. Always favor the family discussion of general interest before going into the business of the meeting. Can't ever recall being unreasonable as to a subject matter.
I might sometimes see a boy who's in my history class.
And he's the cheerleader.
Not of general interest.
Oh, he is. We're all very interested.
Not me. I'm bored stiff. You know, if Anne might have said that she had seen a two-headed boy, that would be of general interest.
I'd be very interested in a two-headed boy.
Now, I have a really first-rate topic I'd like to bring up. Have you, any of you, seen my glasses? Oh, thank you. Oh, much better. Now, the next rate topic I'd like to bring up is I want to teach you a new method of multiplication that's bound to make a wonderful impression on your teachers. Remember, a lot of little things like this out of skipping grades in school.
Is that of general interest, Daddy?
That is of utmost general interest. But before I get into the business of the meeting, I'd like to make an announcement. I've been invited to speak at the World Management Conference in London. Despite opposition of a few warriors, I intend to go. But by jingo, I'm going to leave this household in smooth running condition without a big load on your mother.
They're not such a load.
We're going to organize a purchasing committee to buy food, clothing, and equipment. Then we'll elect a utilities officer to levy 5-cent fines on wasters of water and electricity. The projects committee will see that the projects are committed on time and on schedule. That leave more times for other things, not so much work on your mother.
Well, hell, of course, Dad. And since that's settled, I will be adjourned.
I want to see us having more system around here. I'm installing work charts in the bathroom. You'll to initial them every day after brushing your teeth, doing your homework, and so forth. That way your mother just has to glance at them.
I think we're all in favor, and I think we ought to adjourn.
It's getting late. Sure is.
I'd like to see us having the smoothest running household in the whole world. That would leave more time for other things, your education.
Couldn't we go into that tomorrow? We're all doing fine in our studies.
I want you skipping grades now, Dad. Anything that distracts from
Please,
that.
I will be adjourned.
I second the motion.
Anything that distracts from that. Are you in any way responsible for that? Go on.
Responsible.
Great Caesar's ghost. What is that written on the side of the Jump in, sardine, in?
There's more on the other side.
She asked Anne if he could have a soda with her tonight at the drugstore. I think it might be all right. I've already done my homework.
We have a mathematics project.
Couldn't I get that from Ernestine later? I promise
Tell
I'll...
him to stop that.
Great, I will not have you embarrassing Anne.
What do you want me to do? Go sit in the kitchen?
Joe, park the car and come in! Oh, Dad, please. We are going to have a talk before we say anything to this boy. He might be very nice.
He's the cheerleader.
That settles it. Any girl that thinks boys are more important than mathematics projects.
What now?
Hey, the ain't got What's the matter? Didn't you hear me honk?
Oh, we heard you.
Something born, hey? You didn't tell me your dad ran an orphanage.
Oh, my brothers and sisters.
Some family.
You are the first cheerleader I have ever seen up close.
How do you like my tie, kids? You see, this is a William Tell tie. You pull the bow, okay? And then it's the apple. You pull the bow, and it's the apple. Listen, we are running late. We need to shove off.
I think my dad wants to meet you first.
I think maybe he will.
Well, the gang's all down, and we need to get going.
Hey, have you got time to show us how you lead a cheer?
Oh, yes!
I'd like to see that.
Not now, please.
What are you worrying about?
Oh, please.
I'll show one cheer, and then we'll get going. Okay! Let's have a hoop! Roll! Rain! And a second for Butler High! I'm going to shout a holler on this one. Shh!
Dad, I'd like you to meet Mr. Joe Scales.
How do you do, young man?
Hi, Bob.
Dad, Joe asked me to have a soda with him. He says all the gang's down there at the drugstore.
What about the project?
I'd really like to go.
Well, soda shouldn't take too long. I'm always reasonable.
You mean I can go?
Of course you can.
Oh, Dad!
Let's see, I can take out for 15, maybe 20 minutes.
Take time for what?
Well, to chaperone you, of course.
Not with me.
You think I was letting you go to the drugstore alone, did you?
What's wrong with me?
That, son, would take more than 15 minutes to explain.
Please, Joe.
I can't walk into the drugstore right in front of everybody, followed by a girl's father.
Well, what's wrong with me?
That young man's what you call a rhetorical question.
I don't care if it is. I'm not going to be chaperoned with you in a drugstore.
Oh, don't you trust your own flesh and blood?
Of course he does.
I trust all my daughters. It's the cheerleader I don't trust.
Oh, well, if that's the way you feel, I'm leaving. I'll get someone else. Just wait till I tell the guys in the drugstore what happens when you date a Gilbert.
You're not going to tell him?
You'll be known one days like me. No, Zero. Forget about it, sister. The ship has left the harbor. The taxi was hailed. Just because he's older than Methuselah doesn't mean he knows everything. Forget about it. Never again. No more dates. And another thing. I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
I can't see what Howard says. I got for a soda. Cut out them all. I'm so embarrassed.
Absolute waste of time.
Nobody in this family understands me. I wish I were dead.
What a thing to wish. Let's go a little on the mathematics, Margaret. We don't go out to the movies and get a lot of popcorn and candy and have a wonderful time.
There he goes.
The first example is 46 times 46. Find out how much more 46 is than 45. And then you find out how much more 46 is than 50. And the answer is 4. You take that number and you square it, you get 16.
I must have shut the window.
Remember when the neighborhood big trolls used to play that?
And clap hands, here comes Charlie. Stumble in, me and my boyfriend.
You gotta see Mama every night or you can't see Mama at all.
Those tunes were key to a cheerleader back at Montclair High. I can't recollect his name, though.
Joe Scales. Some chic, hey?
Flaming youth has really caught fire, except at our house.
At our house there was that.
And the actors of our generation is riding straight for the devil.
And a stripped down Model T suitably inscribed with chicken, here's your roost. 4 wheels, no brakes, the tin you love to touch.
Those little jalopies were just as good as our own.
Do you remember riding with Dad in the Paracero? Someone would call out, I see 12 kids. Dad would bellow back, these aren't much, you ought to see the ones I left at home. Once someone shouted, what are you doing in that old ark? Dad shouted back, I'm not, all I need now is an animal, hop it.
The most embarrassing part was when we come to a toll bridge, and Dad played his favorite game. He guessed the nationality of the collector, and then, hey, Jim Irishman come true by the dozen.
Irishman, is it? It wasn't meant for a family like that to pay toll.
Sometimes it was a Dutch collector.
Osh, with the lots of fun guilty Dutch right one through the house.
Even out for a drive, Dad couldn't stop teaching. I mean, past a factory, he'd explain how to use the plumb line to get the chimney straight.
All the systems, study projects, committees. You were terrible as head of the purchasing committee.
The purchasing committee got wholesale rates from underwear to baseballs. And look at the savings on canned food we ordered direct by the truckload.
How about the 96 jars of peanut butter?
Everyone likes lots of peanut butter.
Not me. Not anymore.
The committees were a wonderful idea. They eliminated waste motions, and they did make things easier for Mother.
You didn't talk that way back then. All you girls thought about back then was boys and movies and sodas all the time.
Because the boy dared hardly call our house. That cheerleader did everything but nail 14 sign out on our door.
I remember Ann burning up. She said, unliving through can well only be described as torture.
That's the time Dad chose to step with the efficiency program.
He didn't exactly pick that time.
I didn't mean it.
Sure, none of us knew. I mean, most of the time it just seemed like he was extra impatient.
Like the time the lady psychologist came to give us those examinations.
We didn't know about those examinations. We didn't know they would mean that Ann could graduate ahead of her class.
Dad's master plan. He was so anxious for Anne to graduate early, so she could be free to have mother.
Didn't Anne go to a movie with some boy that afternoon?
She didn't know the exams meant anything. She didn't know that Dad had been talking to a school board about graduating her early.
She missed dinner completely and most of the exams. Dad was wild.
Oh, he kept checking his watch every 3 minutes. If that psychologist hadn't been there, he'd have been roaring like a lion.
You and I finished the exam early. So did some of the others. I guess they'd gone upstairs.
Frank, that music, that isn't coming from down the street. That's coming from upstairs. That's one of our big toilets.
The girls' bathroom.
The boys.
Follow the dumb.
Dad's not enough is.
Well, you better switch them off.
Look for a deck.
Quiet! Shut them off! Who's playing those?
I don't know.
Ann didn't come in?
Wie ist der Ball? Der Ball ist rund. Ist der Ball rund? Ja, der Ball ist rund. Ist der Ball schwarz? Comment allez-vous? Der Ball.
The boys' bathroom.
Quel est le nom de votre
The girls.
adversaire? Son nom est
Turn them off and come down here.
Quel est
No use trying to get around me now. Turn them off! A psychology teacher will think I'm trying to impress her. She'll think I told them to turn them on.
Well, aren't you?
How'd you do on her trick examination?
Practically perfect.
Me too.
You and didn't take you long, you and whoever turned on those records. Good noggin.
Bonsoir, mon père.
You spent half as much time improving your mind as you did memorizing those stupid songs. You would be able to recite the Quran forwards and backwards.
Ich bin lustig. Die Milch ist gut.
Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous.
Ich so traurig bin.
Sonnez les matins, sonnez les matins.
Ein Marken aus alten Seiten.
Ding dong bell, ding dong bell.
No, let's wind up the Victrola and have more jazz. Do 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 do. I love my sweetie forever a day.
That's not a record. You made it up.
Take it from me. It's well above the average. Do do do.
We bought those jazz records with our own money. Anne, Ern, and me. Who wants to recite the Quran backwards?
Look at your report cards you brought home this afternoon.
What's so wrong with a B average?
Last year you had straight A's.
Last year I skipped a grade. It takes a while to catch up.
Still, these afternoons in the drugstores with those boys, drinking soda and listening to jazz, hasn't improved your marks. And this proves I was right.
We hardly spend any time with boys, Dad.
Huh.
We don't have what some people would call a normal social life. Some people have dates on school nights.
School nights? It's practically night now. A school night. And where's your sister?
We told you 10 times.
She went to a movie with a boy.
All afternoon? Why didn't you just bring him here?
Why?
Yes, why?
Because the way you scared Joe Scales. He's got the rest of the boys afraid to even come here. Even that friend of mine.
The one with the motorcycle? The one who keeps buzzing the house at all hours of the night?
He's trying to work up the nerve to come in.
Well, what's he afraid of?
You?
Me? Why should any boy be afraid of me?
It's your fault.
Quick, run out and tell him that your father's leaving for the World Management Conference and you won't have to work on his nerve much longer.
She already told him.
He's stopping. Maybe he'll come in. He's going on again.
Joe Scales' car is much louder.
Well, I hear Motorcycle Mac.
He's still working on his nerve.
Is Ann back yet?
No, for all I know, she's alone.
Miss Gilbert, I'm not getting any help in the kitchen.
With all these examinations, things are upset.
Children, hop to it.
Martin, will you see to the babies?
I'm not supposed to help with the dishes.
What about Ann, Jackie, and William, too?
They're still finishing the examination.
Now I know why they're faking.
I thought they were screaming at dinner.
Who?
With the woman examiner,
Miss Brill.
she came late and was trying to catch up. Jackie tried to be so helpful. She told her no need to gobble your grapefruit like a pig. And we finished ahead of you. We wait till you're through.
She shouldn't have said that.
And Lillian.
She thinks that the family rules apply to guests.
I'm sorry, but I can't pass your dessert till you finish your lima beans.
Made a bad impression. And it didn't help when Jackie asked if what Miss Brill was saying was of general interest or not.
As a matter of fact, I don't think they care for Miss Brill. And I don't either. I don't think she's being fair.
Of all the fine teachers, we had to get that one.
She asks all sort of slanted questions, and I don't think she's marking the papers fairly.
I don't think she's blocking my most important plan, too.
Plan? I thought this was just another one of your school research projects.
Well, that, too.
Does this have something to do with all your trips to school?
Yes, well, there's no reason why Anne should have to mark time with her classmates. There's no reason why she shouldn't graduate at the end of the semester.
Oh, but that's going awfully fast. She just skipped a grade last year.
I worked out a deal with the superintendent. I told him that he could let Miss Brill snoop around all she wants, but in return he's got to do a favor for me.
Oh, is he going to give Anne her diploma?
By jingo, yes, but for March are good enough. They better be. What's the matter with that girl?
I presume you're talking about your daughter, Anne.
There is nothing the matter with any of our children.
You'll see that when you grade her examination.
And when will that be?
Any minute.
Where did she go?
Well, she went to a movie.
These tests are a little more important. They're for the superintendent.
I know who they're for, and they're important to me, too.
The superintendent directed me to give these tests. That doesn't mean I approve anyone graduating ahead of her class. And if she doesn't show up, that's perfectly all right.
She'll be here. Anne's the youngest girl in her class, and she always gets A's. She'll be here any minute.
What have you learned so far about the others?
The results aren't conclusive.
Aren't conclusive? What's inconclusive about them?
I have to interpret the results.
Interpret? Here's something to interpret.
What is that?
You'll see.
What is it?
Cowboy.
I finished the test already.
10 seconds.
Wow.
Doesn't count. Brother and sister aren't here.
Aww.
Frank, what's 46 times 46?
2116.
Dan, 19 times 17.
323.
Mark, 52 times 52.
2704.
You've coached them.
I've taught them. Do you know the capital of Des Moines? Do you know the population of Columbia according to the last census? So does Dan, Frank, and Mark. And so does baby Jane upstairs. And I'll bring her down, but it's time for her bottle.
Now you're being totally ridiculous.
What's 16 times 16?
Well, I really... 256.
17 times 17.
289.
Good girl.
By jingo, we better keep that one, boss.
Miss Brill, are there any other questions you'd like to ask?
I have all I need on these proper examinations.
Anything you need to help you interpret?
I have all I need.
Dismiss. Snap along now.
Tell Mrs. Fitzgerald to keep some dinner warm.
There's nothing wrong with home studies, but you shouldn't try to push them so much.
Why not?
If everyone went in for a regular education like that, there would be no system left. There would be chaos.
Chaos. Perhaps you better grade a paper and just see how much chaos you find.
You can use the kitchen table.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I will look over your shoulder.
I do mind.
Miss Brill,
The old goat.
you should go lay down for a little while. Doc Burton says you should lay down for a while after dinner.
Dr. Burton, Dr. Burton. We better find some way to knock a little sense in our oldest daughter.
They're perfectly normal. At least they want to be.
You want to be wasting a lot of time. Time's too precious.
You should still go lay down for a little while.
Get him out of here.
Don't you ever learn?
Why always Dad's bed? Why not my bed? Or Dan's bed, or Frank's bed, or Ann's bed, or Martha's bed? Why always Dad's bed?
He's just a twax dog.
I'm starved.
Come on in, Larry. Just my house. Well, go eat.
Don't worry. And don't think I didn't notice.
Notice what?
You know that part in that movie? That part all about love? I saw you hold hands.
That's a lie.
If anything like that happened for maybe 10 seconds, it was just because of the movie and entirely involuntary.
It was?
It was just that kind of a movie.
Oh.
See?
Having you tag along is simply unendurable.
You think it's durable to me? I'm starving.
Kid brothers.
In case you don't already know, I have 4 of them. 4 berserk kid brothers.
I already know.
Thank heaven.
Say, I bet you're getting hungry.
Hungry?
I made you miss dinner.
Oh, I miss dinner all the time. I hate dinner. In fact, if there's one thing on earth I don't care if I miss, it's dinner.
I don't seem to be very hungry either.
You're not?
Of course, I ate an awful lot of popcorn.
And gumdrops.
Of course, that never did seem to interfere with my appetite before. Say, would you like to go to a dance?
I mean, I could probably fit it in, depending on the dances.
Tonight, a bunch of seniors.
It just so happens tonight I'm free.
Really? Swell. I'll change and be back for you in half an hour. I'm glad your dad isn't old-fashioned about letting you go out on school nights.
School nights? Wait, Larry, there's someone I have to check with first.
Some other boy?
Well, he's male.
I didn't think you were the kind that stalled a fellow while she sees if she can get a better date.
I'm not. It's not that at all. Really, Larry. It's just that I have to get through the short examination first. Well, like I told you.
Honestly?
Honestly, I'd rather go to dance with you than anyone.
That's different.
At it again. The minute my back is turned.
You don't have to sneak up on people. You might cough or something.
Just try coughing with your mouth full of peanut butter. I just on after back.
Bill, Mother said we weren't to worry Dad with unimportant worries.
Who said I was going to worry him?
I hope he doesn't get your father mad.
He won't. He'd better not.
I heard about your father.
Lots of people hear about Dad and his work.
Well, it wasn't exactly about his work.
The way he eliminates waste motion and things like that. What'd you hear?
To tell you the truth, I was almost afraid to come.
No.
I didn't know whether to ask you for a date or not.
Oh, you haven't listened to that little cheerleader, that Joe Scales.
How'd you know?
Honestly, the things that boy says about my father, why, he'd say anything.
He would?
You think my dad was some kind of monster, when actually, he's friendly and agreeable and witty and has one of the sweetest tempers.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, sweetest. And the story's just absurd. Well,
So she's back, is she?
He must be calling to someone at the back of the house. When he calls from the back of the house, you can also hear from the front of it.
Yes, you can.
And no reason why you shouldn't come here.
What took her so long?
I guess I'd better be getting along.
I suppose you had.
You got boys down there right now?
Frank?
I know you should.
About the dance. I don't suppose. I mean, what I mean is, will you be coming back?
I'm Jingo.
Will you?
I asked you to a dance, didn't I? Well, be seeing you.
Look at her.
I told you if I started dressing like other girls, everything would be all right, and I'd be popular.
Popular. Missing dinner, dodging tests. By Jingo, you started painting yourself, too.
I haven't.
Perfume! You started using perfume!
Frank, she hasn't even had her dinner yet. Why not? It isn't painting or makeup, and it smells so good.
It's her fault. Perfume. Why not? Because it stinks up good fresh air. That's why not.
Dad.
I want you to go up and I want you to wash it off right now.
She's gonna eat something first.
Me too.
I want you to go in there and finish that examination.
I don't want to eat. I want to get the exam over with first. I have something to do later.
Probably something to do with that boy.
Why do I need a brother tagging along when I go to a movie with someone? It's intolerable, really. I don't know why anyone bothers with me.
Well, I know, even if you don't. And that's why brother goes along.
Supposing I wanted to go to a dance, a really important dance that just so happens, for instance, to fall on a school night. Now, we can think about that when the time comes. Mother, Dad?
No more nonsense now. And all this time, perfume, painting,
It's awful.
You go to the dining room and report to Miss Brill.
and listen to me. Get it. You need to get in there and finish that examination.
Now, Frank.
Thank heavens my other daughter's a little more sensible. Not quite so.
Maybe this time he'll stop.
Not quite so silly.
What's going
explain to Dad later.
It's just color.
Your color's very good tonight.
There's a reason. I'd like to keep on that exam.
Who'd you go with? That fullback?
Larry, but I had a wonderful afternoon.
And you shouldn't have stayed out so long. We worried about you, especially your father.
Why does Dad care so much? I mean, what if I do waste one afternoon?
Your father wants everything ship-shape and efficient before he leaves for Europe. Besides, there is this test.
And why did you send that Miss Brill?
I'm sure she's a very fine teacher. I'll tell her you're here.
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Larry asked me to dance. Are you... He's coming right back for me.
Are you crazy? It's a school night. What are you going to tell Dad?
I don't know. I better get the exam out of the way first. Is it tough?
The same old IQ stuff. It's a snap, especially for Miss IQ of Montclair High.
I wish I was Miss something else.
Oh, you're stuck with it. For once, your IQ is going to be put to some good use. I can't wait to see the look on Miss Grill's face when she grades your paper. I bet she's dying to run out with that red pencil. Even I didn't have much trouble with the written part. And the word association test, there's nothing to it. She just shoots 5 words at you.
Swell, I'm in an awful rush.
You know, if I told you the 5 words to the test, you could really pour it on her when she asks.
Well done.
Golly, her mouth would just pop wide open.
I better get a move on.
You know, if every time she popped a word into you, and you could pop back a whole lot of answers, a whole string of associated words. Of course, it wouldn't be right if you told Anne the words to the test.
No, it wouldn't, and I better get in there.
It would be wrong to tell her that the first word is knife, or that the second word is black.
Please.
Foot, hair, bird.
You shouldn't have told me.
No, you certainly shouldn't have told her the 5 words are knife, black, foot, hair, bird. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Gee, I'm sorry. And try to get the words out of your mind. Try to forget that the 5 words are knife, black, foot, hair, and bird.
Forget them after you've been drumming them in. Good night, I'm already thinking of answers. Why did you do a thing like that? Telling me the answers?
Aren't you ever going to get down to business?
Right now.
I thought your mother told you to see to the babies.
Oh, we'll see them. Dad.
Until a motorcycle passes the house.
I think motorcycles are just wonderful. You can make a lot of noise with a motorcycle.
Well, Anne's just breezing through the test.
About time she did some breezing.
I think she has a crush on a boy at school.
Boss, here are the charts that I've worked out. Rotations of duties and so forth. I want to get all this running before I leave.
Do you have to go to this management conference? Doc Burton says that...
Dr. Burton. Better concentrate on a better way to knock some sense in our older daughters.
They're perfectly normal. At least they want to be.
Don't want to be wasting a lot of time. Time's too precious.
Is it really so important to go to this management conference?
A conference like this gives me a chance to explain motion study to the whole world. Besides, the world could use a little more efficiency. It takes a lot to run a family like this.
Remember when we first talked about the family we'd have? Our wedding day. You said we'd have a wonderful life and a wonderful family. A great big family.
That day, I met you in the park, and Mr. Piper meets Mrs. Piper.
We went for our Sunday walk. We'd look like Mr. and Mrs. Pied Piper. That day we got on the train. I tried to appear so blasé. Then I took off my hat, and you gave that loud whisper, "Goodness, woman, why didn't you tell me your hair was that color?"
I shouldn't have done that. It's just that I was so proud of you. Everybody there didn't wink. Well, I think the charts are working out fine. Family's getting it so it runs itself.
You've thought of almost everything, Mr. Piper.
Why, thank you, Mrs. Piper.
I don't think she's taking the test seriously. She's just marking down answers on the page as fast as she can go.
She said something about being in a hurry.
Perhaps she has something more important.
What is it?
You're not supposed to leave the table till you're finished.
I am finished.
That's impossible.
It's finished.
You answered all the questions the best you could?
Honestly, Dad, it was a snap.
A snap. We'll see how much of a snap it was.
Bet we'll see.
We'll see how much of a... Dear me!
What's the matter?
Why, there doesn't seem to be anything the matter.
You haven't found any wrong answers?
No, not yet.
Just keep on marking.
I will.
Yet?
Good. No! I can't probably mark a paper under conditions like these.
Yet?
No, not yet.
Good girl. If I can, we'll tell the whole family. Chip off the old block. First. seconds. I have a wonderful announcement. So far as we know, your sister has just completed a perfect examination.
But Mr. Gilbert! Dad, she hasn't been finished marking it yet.
So far as we know, yet. And it looks to me as though she'll be graduating at the end of the semester.
What's this about graduating?
Mr. Gilbert, you were instructed not to mention that.
What's going on?
You already got her examination.
But she hasn't had the word association test yet.
Well, give it to her.
Here? Now?
Yes, here and now.
All right, but it's very irregular.
Are you ready, Ann?
Oh, yes, she's ready.
I guess so.
You know how it's done. Try to answer with the words you associate. The first word, knife.
Stab, wound, bleed, slit, throat, murder, disembowel, scream, shriek.
Good heavens, you must have an IQ higher than Nicholas Murray Butler.
I read a lot.
Next, black.
Velvet, night, pitch, tar, ebony.
Good heavens, next, foot.
Kick, shoe, walk, run, stocking, dance.
You got to be so smug. Next, hair.
Ribbon, hat, shampoo, pigtail, louse.
Next,
egg, song, nest, fly, worm.
But I didn't say the word, I just said next.
That's true.
Let me see, the next word is bird. You said egg, song, nest, so that's it.
But how could she know?
You knew it, didn't you? And you knew the IQ exam too, didn't you?
No, it was just those words. It was just a joke, sort of. Oh, Anne!
Could you?
I can see through the whole thing. You're all nasty little cheats.
Miss Burrell.
No. I told her the words to the test. And me. Yes, you all cheated.
No, I'm the only one.
You're the only one that got caught. I see now the way you all get ahead so fast in school. I'll certainly report the whole thing to the superintendent.
But I didn't know the test meant anything.
This ends the graduation talk, and we'll see that someone's grades will be thoroughly reviewed.
Just mine, no one else's.
The lot of you.
Gosh, Dad, I couldn't help it.
What do you mean you couldn't help it?
How could everything go so wrong? I had such a wonderful afternoon at the movies with Larry, and he even asked me to a dance. And then this had to happen.
This sort of thing didn't have to happen until you got boys on your mind.
Frank, she's growing up. Other things are important too.
Wasting time, missing dinner, dodging tests, and painting. That's the end of this nonsense. I won't have the whole program ruined by some boy.
You don't realize that. When you're the youngest in the class and you feel like you stay right up at the top bracket, you lose out on other things like well, leadership and sociability, even going to dance with the boy you like.
Hired. Is Ann ready?
Hello, Larry. I guess I can't make it.
Oh. The other date came through?
No!
It's perfectly okay. After all, it's up to you. Well,
I don't see why there's only time for studies and systems and organizing things and getting more efficient.
And I don't understand. Never mind.
I guess we just don't understand each other. I'll get ahead in the kitchen. Oh, Anne.
It's the only thing to do, really. Couldn't just let her run off like that.
You're right, Dad. You might as well help with the dishes.
She'll be all right, Dad. I'll get back to the baby. I was painting the fence. It's still not too dark. I'll spill the paint.
Couldn't just let her run off to a dance like that. It's a question of the whole system. Time's too precious.
Of course it is, Dad. I better locate that dumb dog.
That's just the thing. Time's too precious.
Well, they're all gone.
Well, come along in the living room. It's so quiet and peaceful.
It certainly is. I hate it.
Is that song just in my mind? Or do you hear it too?
I hear it too.
I don't know why, but it makes me think of the afternoon Dad left for Europe.
The last time we were all together. Do you remember what Mother said? She was right.
When you're all together, it's the happiest time in the world.
She said it like she meant us to remember.
You know, it never occurred to us that Dad had any intention of dying until he was good and ready.
I think it occurred to Anne. Something happened that afternoon. Something that made her suspect.
The way I remember, Anne said the afternoon taking a review exam for the school board. Then she was so late coming home, Dad worried we might not even get to see her.
She was late because of waiting for the examiner to grade her paper. She wanted something to tell Dad before he left.
Misunderstanding with Dad.
really took it to heart.
I think Dad felt even worse.
You could tell. We put on that big show for him to give him the big send-off. He'd laughed and acted as though it was wonderful, but you could tell.
He kept watching for Anne.
It was his favorite show, too. Our imitation of him and Mother.
I still know it by heart.
You always took the role of Dad, and I was Mother.
Remember? Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest this afternoon is Dr. Lillian Gilbert.
Hello, Charlotte. So glad you could be here. Great. I like that new hat. Why, Jeannie, you popped your hair. Now, I'm not going to make a speech, but I will be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
Tell us, Mrs. Gilbert, did you really want such a large family? And if so, why?
Any other questions?
Who really wears the pants in your household?
Any other questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Gilbert, for your enlightening answers.
Our next speaker is Frank Bunker Gilbert. Now, don't be frightened now. Please keep your seats. He promised to limit himself to only 2 hours, and not to mention the one best way to do work more than twice in the same sentence.
For the purpose of convenience, I've divided my talk into 30 main headings and 117 subheadings. I will now commence with the first main heading.
Mr. Gilbert, the superintendent here at the factory needs your advice at once.
Tell him we'll be right over. Dear me, 13 seconds. Are you all reasonably sanitary? Is everybody dry?
All right then, follow me.
Mr. Gilbert, I'm the superintendent of this factory.
You call this a factory?
Christmas! Look what followed you in. Are those your children? Or is it a picnic?
They're my children, and it's no picnic.
How do you like my little Bolivians? Bolivians come cheaper by the dozen. Do you think I should keep them all?
I think you should keep them all home.
Jack, take those fingers out of your mouth and explain to the superintendent what's inefficient about this drill press.
That thing a drill press. Ha!
Precisely. Lulling and explain in simple language.
The position of the hand lever is such that there is waste motion both after transport loaded and transport empty. And the work plate of the operator is at a fatiguing level.
Heavens, Mr. Gilbert, tell your children to stop climbing over my machinery.
They won't get hurt. They're all change engineers. I trained them myself.
Look at that little Bolivian squatting over my buzzsaw. I can't watch him. Don't let him squat any lower.
The little rascal thinks it's a bicycle. Leave him alone. Children have to learn by doing.
I lose more children in the factories that way. Now the rest of you keep away from that buzzsaw, you hear?
Someone make a note of that so we'll know how many places to set for supper. Goodbye, sir. Wait till Ann gets back.
What if she doesn't get home in time?
She will. Maybe she's having trouble with the exam. Miss Brill probably saw to that.
Nonsense. Ann does have troubles because they don't know how to put together a proper examination. Some teachers just don't know their business.
Aren't you going to do any mental show for us?
Your father has to hurry.
Too much on my mind, really.
Please, just a little, Daddy.
Oh, we won't be seeing you for a long time.
And you always do that part in the show.
Too much on my mind, really. Don't much feel like it. Ann!
Hi, Dad. I didn't mean to be late.
How'd you do? Did you try that Miss Brill in her school board?
They haven't finished working my paper. I tried to explain I was in a hurry.
Of course you didn't. I was just afraid you wouldn't get back in time.
Mr. Bones? Mr. Bones!
Yay, Dad.
Did you know how to get the water in the watermelon?
Why, no. How does you get the water in the watermelon?
Why are you planting them in the spring? More, Dad.
No, that's enough.
Isabel. You know Isabel?
Why, sure I know Isabel.
Isabel, that's Sarah on the bicycle.
I set out a snack for you. No decent food on trains. There's ice cream and cookies for the rest of you. Ice cream!
I don't know about it. When it comes to ice cream and cookies, you're right on the job. When it comes to mathematics projects, you're slow as molasses.
Hey, Dad.
I don't know. What do you think, boss?
Well, did you say molasses, Mr. Bones? Why, and I molasses come along, children.
And I'm glad you finished up and got home.
Oh, I would have been home in time. I mean, I couldn't let anything.
Bet you made them feel foolish for insisting on a review examination.
I don't know.
Of course you did. All you had to do is get the nonsense out of your mind.
I try my best, my really best, but I haven't got the nonsense out of my mind.
And...
Oh, Dad, she's been studying herself sick.
I can't help it.
And... I don't know why you haven't more sense.
Dad.
I'm glad I'm not the oldest. By the time he gets to us, things will be taken for granted.
Why does Dad care so much?
Sometimes it seems like he's the strictest father in town.
Were there any calls from me or anything?
Larry,
Did he say anything? Did you say anything?
a little. I helped your cause.
How?
I didn't let him think you'd been studying this whole time for an examination. That's so drab. I gave him something colorful to think about.
What?
About all your other dates.
No!
I'm not so dumb. You know, anytime Motorcycle Matt calls, you can just keep your brilliance to yourself. What's the matter?
Now he'll think, gosh, Mark.
I can't help it if neither of you understand men. Understand men? Watch how I handle Matt. He won't even slow down.
What do you mean? It's Larry! Oh no, what you doing?
Nails a broken glass.
I was joking when I gave you that idea.
We better warn him.
No.
What's Larry doing on Matt's motorcycle?
Whose idea was this?
The idea was Anne's.
Not enough to give me the runaround. Now you're trying to kill me.
Kill you?
People get put in jail for things like this.
You're not gonna get me put in jail.
Well, no.
You can if you want to.
Why would I want you in jail? Even if you have accepted 3 fraternity pins at the same time. Even if you are running around with college boys while I thought you were studying.
My ice cream is probably melting. You'll excuse me.
Well, I still don't see why you put nails in the drive.
I didn't. I might have suggested the idea once as a joke, but
My ice cream is probably melting too. You'll excuse me.
I thought you were so different.
I am different, I guess.
I used to think so. I used to think you were sincere and knew about lots of things. I borrowed that motorcycle. I better go see how much damage was done.
Can I help?
You have done enough.
Aren't you gonna have any ice cream, dear?
I don't have much appetite. Well, are you worried about the test?
The test and everything.
That boy? Anything else?
Dad,
You're worried about Dad?
we used to understand each other so well, and now it seems like we don't understand each other at all.
Your father tries to do so much. Sometimes he gets impatient.
Why is Dad in such a hurry for us? I mean, why doesn't he want to spend time with boys or anything like that? It seems like we have to make every minute count.
He might have a reason.
What, Mother?
He might want to get as many of his dozens through school as possible. You especially, you're the oldest.
But we'll all get through school. Why not hurry?
Well, after all, Dad is long in his 50s. Dad's young. And people get things wrong with them. Things like heart troubles.
Is that why Dr. Burton's always coming over?
There's nothing for you to get excited.
Mother, does Dad have heart trouble?
Well, you see,
Does he?
you're so eager to grow up.
Oh, no!
Well, of course, your father wants you all getting ahead as fast as possible. He wants everything efficient and organized.
Oh, Mother.
There, darling, it isn't that bad.
If I know.
It isn't that bad.
Oh, no. Why did you tell me?
Your father is coming right now. Okay. He has some things to show you. I'll go get him.
Here are the cross-section graphs. I forgot to put them up.
What is it, Dad?
1,000 lines long and 1,000 lines wide. Makes exactly 1,000,000 little squares. You'll be seeing it every day.
You have $1 million, Daddy?
No, I have 1,000,000 children instead. Somewhere along the line, a man has to choose between the two.
I'll cut it up later, Dad. I can explain what it means.
Later this afternoon. Don't you like ice cream anymore?
Oh, yes.
Boss, won't you come up to me while I say goodbye to the babies?
What toys are you giving back to them, Mr. Piper? Fly rules?
Why, Mrs. Piper, what a good suggestion.
Just the tire and a bent mud guard. It could be much worse.
What?
The motorcycle.
Oh,
They cost money, you know.
maybe earn that compared to the damage. Gradually.
It was pretty old and beat up anyway.
But whatever it costs.
And
Yes?
how come you spend all your time running around with college boys while I thought you were studying?
I'm not.
You don't have to pretend with me.
I'm not pretending. I wouldn't pretend with you. I don't think people should pretend with people.
I don't either.
So you're at it again. Shocking.
He certainly has a wonderful sense of timing.
Larry, Dad's leaving, and I better see if I can help with things.
Sure, I'll get along. You don't really have 3 fraternity pins? I mean, I didn't think your dad...
Of course not. I don't have time for any nonsense like that.
What do you mean?
Sometimes a person has to push ahead with more important things. Sometimes there are reasons.
Going to a dance with me? That wouldn't be important.
You don't understand. I don't understand myself. Reasons I can't explain. I don't have much time, and there's so much I have to do.
Not even for the senior prom?
I mean, you're asking? Gosh, Larry, it wouldn't be right. With Dad away, things have to be pushed ahead.
Don't you answer the doorbell anymore?
Dad, I didn't hear it.
You weren't listening.
Hello, Mr. Goodman.
I thought you wanted to go to a prom.
I do, but
Well, when a girl starts to grow up, it doesn't matter if she... I wonder. Good heavens. Oh, won't you come in? See?
I understand you're leaving, so I'll be brief.
Did you write my paper?
The superintendent marked it himself.
Yes.
It wasn't my idea to come here.
Well, let's have it. Have to hurry.
Please, cut it out.
The examination.
Please, did I pass?
I'm getting to it.
I have to catch a train in a few minutes.
It's obvious to me she cheated again.
Miss Brill.
You know I didn't. You watch me every minute.
I don't claim to know how.
Well, did you pass?
I'm getting to it.
Did you?
Yes.
Was anything wrong with her paper?
No.
Was it a good paper?
Yes.
So there's no more question about when she graduates?
That was what I was told to tell you. I was told to say she's to graduate at the end of the semester.
Oh, by jingle, I knew it.
Hey, that's swell.
Now, if you'll excuse me.
How much is 19 times 36?
Really?
19 times 36.
I'm not taking a test. Good day. It's 684.
I'm sorry.
Nonsense. Your sister did wonderful.
Thank him.
Knew she would.
I didn't really cheat that first time, Dad.
I know. Martin Ernestine told me all about it. Haven't felt this good in years.
And I better get on home.
I'm glad you came over.
About the prom?
Whoa. What I started to say before I was interrupted by Miss Brill was that, well, you're starting to grow up now.
She is. More than you think.
When a girl starts to grow up, it doesn't hurt if she goes to a few dances now and then.
Oh, I can go.
Of course you can.
Oh, I won't let it interfere with my studies or anything, Dad. I promise.
Easy now. I believe you.
I hope you have a nice trip. And don't worry about Anne going to the prom or anything.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sending Bill right along with her.
Sure thing. It's really something the way you taught me.
Would you like to learn how to multiply 2-digit numbers in your head? Never mind.
Goodbye. Be seeing you.
Be seeing you. It's getting late. I have to put your bags in the car already.
Good. Bye, Jingo. 13 seconds. That's pretty good. Have to be getting along now. You know your jobs and responsibilities. My last official act before leaving is to nominate your mother as chairman. All those in favor?
Aye.
She is now your new chairman.
Do you have to go, Dad? Please, write us or something.
We'll write too. I'll go with you.
No waving goodbye nonsense now.
Dad, there's just one thing I don't understand.
Just one?
I think I may know why you want us to push ahead. But everything you do, all you want to save time for everybody. The thing I don't understand is, what do you want to save time for?
Well, for education, for art, or beauty, for monthly peg if that's where your heart desires, for your heart lies, that's what you save time for.
Right now is the happiest time in the world.
Well, no waving goodbye nonsense now. And by jingle, behave yourselves.
Goodbye.
Bill, get your mother a chair. All of you, arrange yourselves for a meeting. Mother, Mr. Chairman.
Like all families, we have to move on with the business before us. I now call this family council to order.